Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video via social media and with your friends via email. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. The credit card debt crisis in America gets worse as balances surge after a year-on-year spike of $154 billion. Today, I read an article on ZeroHedge.com written by Tyler Durden entitled America's Growing Economy, brought to you by Visa and MasterCard. According to the author, mainstream financial network pundits and government officials keep telling us that the economy is chugging along because Americans continue to spend money. But it's clear that borrowing is the only thing sustaining this spending spree. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have ever wondered how all of those lines of people that you see at restaurants afford those dining experiences, this may be your answer. As I've said before in some of my other videos, America was once the land of the free and the home of the brave, and now it is the land of the credit card and the home of the heavily indebted. Don't take my word for it, though. According to the author of this article, the resilient American consumer is drowning under a surging tidal wave of debt. Did you hear that? A tidal wave of debt. In fact, this author indicates total household debt rose by $228 billion in the third quarter, setting a new record of $17.28 trillion. This is according to data from the New York Federal Reserve. The author goes on to report that credit card balances are surging. They increased 4.7% to a new record of $108 trillion. And year-on-year credit card debt spiked by $154 billion. This was the biggest annual increase since 1999. Because of inflation, you might think it is normal for these balances to adjust accordingly with inflation, but I personally think it is a lot more than that. Many people haven't seen their wages adjust and are struggling to maintain their lifestyle. Rather than adjust their lifestyle down, which many people don't want to do, they simply rely on debt to maintain their lifestyle. I just don't think it is going to be sustainable in the long run for many of these everyday Americans. Some will unfortunately reach a breaking point and they won't know what hit them. This may happen sooner than some anticipate, given the high levels of interest being charged by many credit card companies. Many Americans depleted most of their savings to keep pace with inflation and are now relying on these credit cards. In fact, the author of this article brought to light some interesting data. This is probably the most interesting bit of data in the entire article. With regard to savings that people in America have, the data revealed, and I'll quote, aggregate savings peaked at $2.1 trillion in August 2021. As of June, the San Francisco Fed estimated that aggregate savings had dropped to $190 billion. Isn't that crazy that there has been a drop in aggregate savings from $2.1 trillion to just $190 billion? That drop is insane. Americans spent $1.9 trillion in savings in just 2 years. Here's what's really scary to me. 70% of our GDP here in America is comprised of consumer spending. It appears as though credit is what is allowing that spending to continue, at least for now. With the high levels of interest being charged, how long can this go on before something breaks? I'd really like to know if you have friends, coworkers, or family members who are knee-deep in credit card debt and barely hanging on. If you know people like this, tell me about it in the comment section below. On the topic of barely hanging on, some people haven't been able to do that. Unfortunately, there are a lot of everyday Americans facing eviction. I read an article today on moneywise.com written by Sarah Lewis titled, "Who's Getting Evicted in America?" New data reveals a grim reality for millions of U.S. adults and children facing eviction as housing crisis worsens for renters. According to the author, propelled by rising rents and a shortage of affordable housing, eviction filings are skyrocketing across the country, leaving many Americans scrambling to cover costs, find a new place, or face the risk of homelessness. How tragic is this? Imagine not being able to afford your rental income anymore because the rent has surpassed what you can afford based on your earnings. This is a grim reality for many everyday people. My heart truly goes out to all of these people who are suffering because of this. According to the author, eviction filings are more than 50% higher than the pre-pandemic average in multiple cities. Did you hear what I just said, ladies and gentlemen? 50% higher. This is an ominous sign of what is happening in some parts of our great country. The author of this article references the Eviction Lab tracker, which revealed that 86,000 households have been evicted just in the last month, and over 1 million have been evicted in the last 12 months. It is sad to read about this, but it is reality for a staggering number of people in our country. And I understand why. Inflation and supply and demand have both resulted in a situation where rent has increased dramatically in the past few years, and now some people can no longer afford it. The wages that a lot of people earn are not keeping pace with the rent price increases. I just don't know where some of these evicted people are going to go. If you get evicted, that is going to likely impact your credit report and score, which will make it even more difficult to rent something new. Hopefully, some of these individuals have friends or family to live with. If not, homelessness could become a reality. I hate to see homelessness here in America, one of the greatest nations on earth, with one of the mightiest militaries on earth. If you think I'm painting a negative outlook on what's happening in our great country, I'm not the only one with a negative outlook. I read an article today on foxbusiness.com written by Bree Stimson, which was titled U.S. Credit Rating Outlook Lowered to Negative by Moody's as Shutdown Looms. The author of this article referenced Moody's Investors Service, who said, continued political polarization within U.S. Congress raises the risk that successive governments will not be able to reach consensus on a fiscal plan to slow the decline in debt affordability. In the context of higher interest rates, without effective fiscal policy measures to reduce government spending or increase revenues, Moody's expects the U.S. fiscal deficits will remain very large, significantly weakening debt affordability. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it appears as though our government isn't in much better shape than some everyday American consumers who are having a difficult time reducing their spending and dealing with their debt. The fact that Moody's lowered the U.S. credit rating outlook from stable to negative is very disturbing to me. Are you surprised, though? Do you think this parallels what is transpiring with many everyday American households? I sure do. Share your thoughts in the comment section below regarding this. Apparently, one way that some American households are dealing with their personal financial situation is by ransacking their retirement savings. I read an article on Yahoo Finance written by Carrie Hannon, which was titled, Americans Continue to Ransack Their Retirement Savings, Survey Finds. According to the author, the number of participants taking hardship withdrawals from their 401k was up 13% in the third quarter versus the second quarter, according to a new survey from Bank of America, which tracks about 4 million clients' employee benefit programs. That tallies up to more than 18,000 plan participants, the highest level in the past 5 quarters since Bank of America started tracking this data, and up 27% compared to the number of withdrawals during the first 3 months of the year. Well, this is not good information. This really provides insight into how badly some people are struggling here in America. What concerns me is many may be jeopardizing their future financial security in retirement by doing this. I guess some are trying to find ways to survive right now and aren't worrying about retirement years down the road. What happens when these people get too old to work and there is no more retirement money to tap? Well, it could be game over for some of these people. I personally would never take a hardship withdrawal. I'd live in my car and work multiple jobs, even if those were horrible jobs. I'd do that to avoid needing to take a hardship withdrawal. I would never want to sacrifice my future financial security to deal with problems today. That's just me though. I can be a bit extreme about some things in life. For your information, I'm not suggesting any of you live in your car. That could be potentially dangerous. I truly hope that these people taking hardship withdrawals have a plan for how to get back on track, and I hope that they see that plan through. I worry about everyday Americans who may face some serious financial hardships later in life when they reach retirement age. I know one thing, Taylor Swift probably doesn't need to worry about retirement. I read an article today on moneywise.com written by Sarah Lewis titled, "A Great Economist, Taylor Swift Hits Billionaire Status with Blockbuster Eras Tour. Here are 3 big lessons you can learn from the megastar's masterful money moves." The author indicates that her net worth eclipsed $1 billion this year. I wonder how many everyday Americans went into credit card debt to purchase the tickets for her concerts and the tickets to her movie. I know she has a loyal fan base, and I'm happy that her music resonates with her fans. I'm happy that Taylor Swift is having success with her music endeavors. I just worry about those who went into debt to enjoy her performances. The 3 big lessons that the title of this article references are that she always has a plan, she has an impressive real estate portfolio, and she gives back. Well, if you are wealthy enough, you can hire qualified professionals to help you develop a plan. With this wealth that she has, she can afford to invest in real estate even during this crazy market. And she has the money to give back. Unfortunately, many everyday Americans aren't in a position to do any of those 3 things other than make a plan. Many are struggling just to survive in this new financial reality here in America. I guess people can escape from reality for a short period of time while listening to her music. That escape may be short-lived though. Reality can sometimes run you over like a Mack truck loaded with gravel. Some may have a hard time ever getting back on their feet. I truly worry about people who are going into credit card debt for expensive experiences like her concerts. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video via social media or via email with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.